In this chapter, chapter 9, we're going to be looking at the idea of high-performance organizations. How do you get them going? How do you maintain them? Here are the objectives that you have as far as the chapter is concerned. Now, the whole idea behind the high-performance work systems is to pull together all the elements of the organization into one so that you can be as effective, as efficient as possible. What we're talking about is the organizational structure, having the right organizational structure and the task designs that, as far as the jobs are concerned, getting the right people in, which are supporting the task design and the organizational structure. You have the reward systems that support the people and the task and the information systems that will support it all also. So you have to get all of those pieces working together effectively in order to have a high performance system. The whole idea behind this is to get as much productivity and efficiency and profits as you possibly can. Keep the employee turnover low and keep the customer satisfaction high. When you think about it, if you get the right people and design interesting jobs, you'll have satisfied workers. With that, you get low absenteeism and turnover, which lowers your costs. It gives you satisfied customers, which gives you higher sales and profits. Getting that whole idea of greater productivity going is very, very important as far as a high performance work system. The things that contribute to it are teams. Now, and employees are participating in the selection of those teams. Now, one of the things to remember when it comes to teams, you don't have to have a team for everything. I mean, you just don't have to have a team for everything. The thing is, when you have people who are engaged and they are participating and putting together what it is that's necessary, how are we going to do these things? You're going to get a much higher performance. You also have to make sure that you have the reward processes in place so that people can feel fulfilled and are rewarded for doing the high performance types of things. They need to have the equipment and the work processes that are necessary in order to get that high performance, and they're participating in how are we going to actually do this? How are we going to set things up? What's the equipment we're going to use? And then also ethics. That whole idea of ethical behavior is very, very important as far as high performance is concerned. When you start thinking about the empowerment aspect, people are empowered more when they have true teams that are working together as far as the work is concerned, as far as getting things done. Knowledge sharing is very, very important also, where what you're doing is you're capturing the learnings as you go. When I was at the pharmaceutical company, what we would have at the end of every project is kind of an after action review where we step back and think about what did we learn? What are some things that went well? What are some things we would do differently? We put that into our learning systems so that people who came behind us, as far as other projects that might be like that, would learn from some of the things that we had learned and not make some of the same mistakes. As long as people are engaged, you're going to get much better performance. What we mean by engagement is full involvement in the work and their commitment to what it is that they're doing. The more people are engaged, the more passionate they are, the more high performance you can have. Ethics is very, very important. In other words, people need to understand what's right and what's wrong. You need to make sure that you have laid out what is our code of ethics. Make sure that people are held to that. You reward those who act ethically. You step on those who do not. So the contribution that human resource management can provide to a high performance organization. We've talked about job design. Are we designing good, interesting jobs? Are we getting the right people on board? Are we getting them trained? We've talked about those things. Coming up in future chapters will be performance management. In other words, what are we doing to give them the feedback and to hold their feet to the fire as far as the position and the job that they're doing, and also their compensation. What are we doing to compensate them fairly for what it is that they're doing as far as their jobs are concerned? The practices that HRM can provide match the organization's goals as far as the practices that are there. You have a performance management system that not only measures what people are doing, also how they are doing it. You're monitoring their satisfaction and sharing information. You have pay systems that will reward good behavior, good skills, good output. You have diverse workforce that are bringing a lot of different ideas and skills in. People are designed, people are permitted flexibility in what it is that they're doing, kind of making their job their own. So there's a lot of things that HRM provides as far as helping an organization with high performance. The guidelines for it is making sure that you're defining what the performance is. In other words, people know what high performance is, so they know what it is that they have to do. You're linking the performance measures to customer needs. In other words, people need to know what it is that they are providing to that final customer. So many times organizations do not share or show people how what it is that they're doing actually relates to the final product. You have somebody who's sweeping the floor at a hospital. Well, all they're doing, they feel as if all they're doing is just sweeping the floor. Well, the thing is, they are actually helping keep things clean for the patients that are there so that they don't get any sicker than what they already are. So making sure that people understand how they relate to the final customer and the product. The technology that's going to be used is important also. The transaction processing would be things like, what are you doing as far as raises and as far as payroll, things like that. You have decision support systems, which will provide information to managers so that they can play the what if games that are necessary in order to create those high performance systems. And then also making sure that you have some sort of expert systems that where decisions can be made based on various steps that are going forward. You need to have the relational databases. We have all kinds of different databases. The thing is, they need to be able to link somehow. That's what a relational database is, something that where you can link disparate information together to get information from the data that's out there. Also having an HR dashboard. A dashboard is basically maybe one sheet of paper that's printed off that has the various measurements as far as, okay, so what kind of turnover did we have? What kind of increase in pay did we have? What kind of X, X, Y, Y? In other words, it's looking at all of the various human resource aspects that relate to the business. Another thing to think about is what are you doing as far as your online types of things? One of the things that's happening is more and more HR systems or departments are moving more towards self-management types of things. So in other words, employees and managers can go out to the web. It could be something that's cloud computing. In other words, that the information is actually stored on other servers or within their own servers. They can go out and they can put in the information that they need. So in other words, as an employee, I might be able to say, well, what are the benefits that I have? And I can look that information up. I can put in for an absence that I'm going to be having and things like that. So the technology that is going to be necessary for a high performance organization. And a lot of organizations are using more social media as far as how they communicate, how they coach, what it is that they're doing. Social media is so prevalent in today's society, might as well take advantage of it wherever you can. When you start thinking about the customer-oriented perspective of human resource management, we always need to be thinking about who our customers are. In other words, from a human resource standpoint, our customers are the managers and the employees who are in the organization. What is it that they need? And then also, how can we actually help them meet those needs that they have? Customers are not just the people that we're selling products to. We have internal customers also that we need to be thinking about. We also need to make sure that what we're doing is auditing the effectiveness as far as what our human resource management practices and systems are actually doing. What are we doing as far as staffing and compensation? In other words, are we being effective? Are we actually hitting the goals that we said that we would do? Are they being as efficient as possible? What are we doing as far as compliance with hiring laws? So we need to make sure that we have the information systems that will capture all of that and we audit that. There's a lot going on as far as analytics. In other words, what's actually happening with what it is that people are doing. Analytics is basically going out and pulling a lot of different data out to determine, are we doing the right things? Where are our customers at? What is it that they're needing? Things like that. So the analytics is going to be very, very important. Also thinking about what it is that we can do to measure the dollar cost that goes along with human resource management. So those are some of the key points for this chapter. If you have questions, give me a shout.